Okay, good morning dear students. In the last class we have discussed about the Newlands law of actives. Newlands law of actives. Okay. What is the Newlands law of actives? When we are arranging the known elements in the order of increasing atomic masses, the first and eighth elements are having the similar properties. That is called Newlands law of actives. Okay. I given in the last class I given the table also. Newlands notes of music, Newlands actives notes of music table also I given. Okay, in the table we identified some of the elements are, two elements are in the same column. Okay, now today I am going to discuss about the what are the demerits of the Newlands law of actives. What is the demerits of the Newlands law of actives? Okay, one by one we have to discuss. So demerits. First demerit. What is the demerit? Did you observe any demerits in the Newlands law of actives? It was found that the law of actives was applicable only up to calcium. This law of actives was applicable only up to calcium, as after calcium every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first element. That means Newlands law of actives, it is applicable only up to calcium. Calcium atomic number is 20, so it is applicable only calcium. After the calcium every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first element. This is a demerit of the Newlands actives. Okay, and so demerits. What is the first demerit? It was found that the law of actives was applicable only up to calcium. It is applicable only up to calcium, as after the calcium every eighth element did not possess properties of similar to that of the first. Okay, this is the first demerit. So once you have to observe that last class I given the table, in that only that law of actives, it is applicable only up to calcium. After the calcium every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first element. This is a demerit. And the next one, it was assumed by Newlands that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future, but later on several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of actives. When Newlands given this table 1866, In 1866 he given the table. That time only 56 elements is there. Okay. It was assumed by Newlands that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. He did not think about the future elements. Okay. So this is the one of the demerits. But later what happened? Later on several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. Later on several elements are discovered. Several new elements are discovered. These properties did not fit into the law of octaves. Every first element and eighth element similar properties is there, but after that later on several new elements they are discovered that first element and eighth elements are their properties did not match. This is also one of the demerits. When he is explained about this table, only he is explained about the 56 elements only. In that 56 elements also it is applicable only up to calcium. After the calcium it did not applicable to the remaining elements. This is another demerit of the Newlands law of octaves. What is the demerit? It was assumed by Newlands that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. And no more elements would be discovered in the future. But later on several new elements were discovered. Several new elements are were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. Okay. It was assumed by Newlands that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. But later on what happened? Several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. This is one of the demerit.